Thanks for joining us for the newspaper review here on the AM show. But before we get into the papers, we want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors for this year's JoyNews Habitat Fair. It was in collaboration with EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. It happened from Friday to Sunday. We thank all our sponsors: GHB Properties, Experience Affordable Luxury, DBS Industries Limited, Roofing Papa Pamphie, Duraplast Limited, manufacturers of high-quality UPVC and HDP pipes, fittings, rotational molded products. Where Duraplast goes, water flows. The Planned City Extension Project, Rent to Own. And thank you all for passing through the Accra International Conference Center. We do hope and pray that this year, going into next year, that building of yours will be up. And if it's an investment for you, well, good luck with it. Habitat Fair, everything housing. Benjamin, you were there, I think, on Sunday yesterday, right?
Yes, I was, and it was rather interesting. You know, the packages and everything. And speaking to EcoBank, little drops of not water, money. If you know how to invest properly, you could have your home, you know, in no time. And I'm contemplating a few things, but I'll hold my cards to my chest. You know,
yeah.
Charlie, as he above brow.
Yeah, I think this year what I was looking for, and thankfully I got it. I wanted a service plot.
All right.
I wanted a service plot.
All right, so and you got it.
Yes, that was the objective. Yeah, man.
If you so. You did for.
Okay,
anyway,
so let's do the papers.
We're going to dig in, and Mama V, just because you brought this up, we're going to. I'd like the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper to be put up there, because guess what? Sometimes when we complain about, you know, our papers getting a bit sloppy, the Ghanaian Times is one of our major mainstream newspapers, and guess how they spell tough? Yeah, you're saying right. Government to get though. Anyway, so that is, we're not shaming them. We're not shaming them. It's no attempt at shaming
this
them.
Doesn't happen often with, with banner headlines. So I get it was a mistake that we couldn't correct. Yeah. Probably figured it out when the papers had already been like printed.
When the Ghanaian Times was saying dining hall and they put two ends at the start and you wonder. Anyway, the Ghanaian Times newspaper this morning, President's 19th broadcast on measures taken against COVID-19. Maybe in the course of the review, we can just bring you snippets of what exactly he said. But one thing I took away, the fact that here in Accra, there was a mask wearing rate of about 44%. Now it's fallen to 5%. Mask Anyway, so government to get tough to prevent further spread of the disease. Formena parliamentary seat declared vacant. We're ready for December 7 polls, EC to Parliament. Joe Biden elected 46th president of the United States, but no concession yet from Donald John Trump. President Akufo-Addo, other world leaders congratulate U.S. President-elect Joe Biden. On the back page, President inaugurates 60-bed Tyne District Hospital. You know how important this part of the country is, especially in, was it election 2012? Tyne, you know, famously, or was it 16 rather? Then 312 Asokore Mampong affordable housing units opened. We've been talking about this for quite a while now. That's it with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. All
right, let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper. On page 16, it brings back to you the presentation of the EC chairperson, Jean Mensah, and says, we're 95% ready. Also, EU's money laundering list, government takes action towards country's exit in 2021. Banner headline, COVID-19 cases rise, enhanced contact tracing back. Testing labs to be reactivated. Infectious disease center opens. And then let's see what's in the center spread of the paper is a news feature, free duty on TVET equipment. And then, so TVET is the free and technical vocational education and training. And there's a feature on equipment that's supposed to be duty-free when it enters into the country. You can read on the center spread, but solving Accra's perennial flooding. There's also a story by Philip Tremantin here in the center spread. Bumpy road to health, Ghana's success story, also in the center spread of the paper on the back page. Time. Is it time? Because I remember when it came up, some of us were calling it Tame and then Time. Time District Hospital inaugurated. I guess I said it right.
Anyway, whether Time or Tame, I think it must have been.
I think it's
2008.
Right?
Rather, 2008. So,
I think so too.
Well, the Daily Dispatch is the next one for me. It says EC to insist on voting day. No mask, no voting. You don't go with your mask, you don't get to vote. It's as simple as that. You can check out the profiles of all 12 presidential candidates. They are here. It's per what the Electoral Commission released in recent times. International community passes resolution to save Etiwa Forest. This is something I am really passionate about, and it's something I'm going to be digging into soon, but at least here on the show, we'll be taking a look at that story. Focus on Efutu and Afenyo Markin. When you go on the back page, my very own parish priest, Reverend Father Andrew Campbell, receives honorary doctorate from University of Health and Allied Sciences. He's in a pose there with the Vice President of the Republic, Dr. Muhammadu Baumia. That's it with Ben Efson's Daily Dispatch.
All right, let's do the Republic. Okay, there's no D. It's Republic Press. Front page of the paper. UT boss fingers Ibrahim Mahama as he blames thievery and bad loans for banks' collapse. He's been speaking and they've captured some of the things that he said in that interview. Also, Kufuor Rawlings, Mahama congratulates Joe Biden. We're ready to deliver successful December 7 elections, says Jin Mensa, the Electoral Commission chairperson. Fomena MP sacked. Speaker declares seats vacant. And it says the Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, has said the decision by the Member of Parliament for Fomena Andrew Amwakwesiama to contest as an independent candidate amounts to a vacation of his seat in Parliament. It gives you the background in terms of 13th October, where the NPP wrote to the Speaker of Parliament to trigger the provisions of Article 97 1G for the seat in the House to be declared vacant. That's exactly what the Speaker did on Saturday, but I guess there will be fallout of that because, you know, before this, there was the argument that he didn't leave the party.
Yeah.
He didn't leave the party. So, but this story on page 4, I guess we'll come back and do a bit more of what Mr. Prince Kofi Amoabeng, the former CEO of defunct UT Bank, has been saying.
Well, it's a pathetic state his right now. And, you know, in recent times, he's been talking about why his bank collapsed and all of that. A bit sad there. The Daily Guide newspaper this morning says NDC MP sprays cash. That is actually on page 6. And a picture there of Pukua, so Queen Star Pukua Sawyer. She used to be Central Regional Minister, and she is a member of Parliament for Agona East constituency. And the story talks about her spraying cash to supposedly convince her own party people and constituents to vote for her. But spraying cash, check like, can't make the norm be like that, though it's not the best. I can't deceive you, Nana Adudankwe Kufuor saying that government arms robbers claims Mahama. And the Daily Guide says it's a bizarre statement emanating from the former president. The story says without any proof. Fomena MP sacked from Parliament, Biden defeats Trump, and then over 17 million voters in register. I just had to wrap up with these sporting stories. CAF cautions absentee AFCON teams. GFA Gurus bid X-Stars captain farewell. I'm talking about the late Samuel Kwesi Owusu. And this final story, Man United. When I say Mama V is not part of, she's a Man U fan that has what's the term? You have reneged on your responsibilities. You have defected. She's defected to Leeds.
No.
So
I just stopped following
she no longer
you.
qualifies. But they say they set up Man U to fail. Ula Gunnar Solskjaer saying that you should check out that story.
Who set up Man U to fail?
But Ed Woodward is still there.
Let's do the Custodian. Front page of the Custodian says Guan district created in Oti region EC to add one more constituency. Akufo-Addo congratulates Biden on decisive victory. Boost confidence in local entrepreneurs. Transport Minister to Buankra Port contractor. And then EC set for 2020 polls amongst the many things that the chairperson shared with Parliament. 74,800 new BVDs procured. 233,632 temporary staff recruited. So plenty more in the Custodian newspaper. On the back page, they've got some sports stories. Bedard Mensah quits Black Stars. Former Asante Kotoko striker Emmanuel Osei joins KIFC in Philippines. Jordan Ayew opens goal scoring account as Crystal Palace completes United. Go on.
Did you watch the match?
No, I did not.
Your Leeds United?
I'm thinking that maybe I should go to Leicester.
Leicester, you should enjoy yourself.
Oh, but they're on top of the table, aren't they?
Well, we'll see how long that lasts. Anyway, the Daily Statesman, MPP completes 40-year-old Bekwai hospital. Good move, but I ask myself, within those 40 years, how many lives have we lost owing to the non-completion of this project? I'm not blaming any particular government. I'm merely saying that as a country, we need to rethink how we do things. COVID-19 cases rising again. President warns nation against indiscipline. We've transformed agri-sector or agric sector. Akufo-Addo touts government's gains. More sporting stories on the back page of the Daily Statesman. The match there between England and Iceland in Reykjavik as Raheem Sterling scored that lone goal. Are we going to the Punch newspaper now?
Yes, we are just fascinated by a marriage ceremony and it's making front page headlines. I'm not sure I've seen that in a very long time. So I was just looking at some of the wedding photos. Okay, let's do Here's the Punch newspaper front page. And this story that got me all interested in the paper, real estate mogul weds na Akushika Thompson. I guess the reason this is such a big story, and you find the pictures on the back page, because the lady is the daughter of Ernest Thompson. You can link Ernest Thompson to the Accra Hassel Club, and then also he's worked with SNIT. He's a lawyer, and I guess maybe that's where the interest comes from. Back there, pictures on the... Oh, let me do the other stories. John Mahama tours Medina and Dome-Kwabenya constituencies. War of words as MPP, NDC MPs trade accusation over elections chaos. CDG cautions government on credible, free and fair election. And then we are ready for 7th December elections, according to Jean Mensah. That is what's on the front page. And then if you go to the back, you see the wedding that I've been talking about. This real estate developer, Eric Kofi Afotexing, getting married to Na Akushika Thompson, an investment analyst with Equity Department under the investment division of SNITS. They said it was in a classic and colorful ceremony here in Accra. All right.
Well, Nigeria though has its Punch newspaper that comes with quite a punch.
This is not punchy enough?
Well, BNFT, Business and Financial Times, the Ghana Economic Forum 2020 opens today. Discussions are going to focus on economic revival. Then Kofi Adomako leads GCB Bank. Rural telephony project connects over 3 million, 1,000 more sites to be rolled out in December 2020. The pandemic provides opportunities to deepen financial inclusion. That's according to Fidelity Bank's MD. Then this one, sale of Bogoso Prestia Mine, Golden Star Resources plan to revert $53 million rehabilitation liability to government. And so those are the stories in the final newspaper I'm going to be looking at, the Business and Financial Times.
Now, you want to stay for this story. It's in the New Publisher newspaper. And I'll just ignore all the other headlines and concentrate on this one. You have to learn one or two from this. Woman bites, repeats penis during oral sex.
That
You want to hear
what's
details?
then and there, you know.
Aha. So he had a gun. Oh, they said he had a gun and he had a cutlass
A
or
machete
so,
or something,
a sharp blade. And he decided to embark on his mission. Fortunately, I guess for me it's fortunately, because you have to find a way to get rid of them whilst, you know, people come to save you in the process. And this woman who is a 23-year, no, the guy is 23. She found a very, you know, creative, smart to get rid of him.
The guy he had apparently drugged her, so maybe he had already done whatever nefarious thing he wanted to do. And after that, you know, you've taken her television and all of that. He also wants the woman to perform fellatio on him. And well, I think he got what he deserved.
And that was when she had recovered. So, of course, he took a lot away from her, but she found a way to fight back big time. Maybe that penis should have completely gone off.
I mean, when I saw that, I'm sorry, but as a man, when I saw the the bandaging and the little piece on the side, my heart sank. I mean, these are not things that, as a man, you would want to see. But the act, the thought, I think it serves, it's a lesson right there. Far too often we hear of these stories. And interesting also how he got apprehended, because where the woman ended up, the same, you know, medical facility is where he also ended up, and they put two and two together and realized that no, this had to be the gentleman. So, well,
his name is Emmanuel Ankon. Well, they refer to him as a rapist, but you and I were not there, so we can't straight away call him that. We can only say he allegedly, you know,
he's not living up to his name though. If he actually did that, Emmanuel, God with us, and this is more like the devil with us.
Can you imagine? You went raping someone, now you are crying for help.
Well, let's do this one from the Daily Dispatch newspaper. I did indicate I would get into it. International community passes resolution calling for global action to save Etiwa forest. I am particularly passionate about environmental matters, and this specific one, the millions of people that benefit from, you know, the Etiwa forest and the water resources and the plant resources, the flora and fauna. I mean, you should read more. I think all of us should, you know, get into a bit more when it comes to Etiwa. But the story says members of the International Union for Conservation of Nature on Wednesday overwhelmingly voted to adopt Motion 103, and it calls for urgent measures to safeguard the globally important Etiwa forest, Ghana. Now, the motion becomes a formal IUCN resolution, given the government of Ghana, again, a clear message that the Etiwa forest must be withdrawn from the planned bauxite mining and protected as a national park. The motion was brought by Arusha, Ghana, with co-sponsors and IUCN members, the Development Institute, among others. Now, the motions process, which is very rigorous, takes more than a year from submission to voting. Of the 580 members voting on the motion, 98%, I wanted to take stock of that, were in favor, showing clearly that the decision to mine bauxite in Etiwa is vehemently opposed. And while I feel government ought to be able to leverage our natural resources and in order to build the sort of country we want, I feel pockets like Etiwa, some of the few ones we have left, ought to be protected. So my take on that. I've been posting about these on social media and all of that. So this is nothing new to me. And I'm happy that this resolution has come up. Whether government will listen is another thing.
The first time I visited Kwabe, I made a lot of noise because I had not seen, you know, because we had talked about Etiwa forest, we talked about the beauty and how we will be destroying the forest, and I got really close to it and I loved it. And I was like, oh God, please don't touch this.
Pristine nature, like untouched.
Touch this. Yeah.
You know, it said that, man, we touch everything and we destroy it.
Well, I can do a bit of the story about the UT, well, defunct UT boss, if you like. Prince Kofi Amoabeng has been talking, and this is the angle that the Republic Press picks from that conversation. It says that he's blamed his bank's flop on high level of non-performing loans. Okay, he's explained that loans, including the ones disbursed to Ibrahim Mohammed's Jatta Cement Company and failure to pay it, as some of the reasons that caused trouble for the bank. He added that acts of thievery by some staff also played a role in the bank's liquidation. Mr. Mwabing told the media in Accra that a number of staff who joined the financial institution were plain thieves who engaged in acts that compromised the bank's health. When asked whether or not he anticipated a takeover due to the non-performing loans, Mr. Mwabing answered in the negative, saying, "I knew the baby was sick to the point that I had to step out for another person to step in as CEO to restructure it. I wasn't expecting the baby to die because of the brand we had created and the impact it was having on the national economy." So that's Prince Kofi Mwabing looking back and talking about what may have contributed to the collapse of the bank. His bank, actually, started from 0, brought it up to the point where it got to, and then
it went bust. So exactly. 0 to hero, and then back to 0, if you like.
But he said he didn't regret giving the loan to Ibrahim Muhammad, though. I think I read an extensive report of what he had to say.
Testament and all of that. Well, very sad, because local businesses, I mean, if you look at our landscape, even as far as our GDP is concerned, it's a lot of the MNCs, those coming from other countries that are shoring up. So we need a lot more local entities with that clout to hold us, so that our economy doesn't go bust at any point in time when these MNCs decide to up and leave. But
I was looking forward to his own contribution as well. I didn't hear him talk about his own failures, what he did to contribute to the collapse of the bank.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't see that.
He did blame some of his staff for pilfering and all of that. But indeed, it would be interesting to know what measure of blame he takes upon himself. That's a very good point there to make. I'll do the Ghanaian Times newspaper on the back of what His Excellency the President was telling us yesterday, and it says government to get tough. You make a mistake on the front page, you might as well correct it here, but no, it was repeated. Government to get government to get tough, actually, to prevent further spread of disease. Now, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has urged the public to strictly adhere to the COVID-19 safety protocols to help prevent a further spread of the new rate of infections in the country. So I just took out some salient points yesterday that I'll just address about 2 or 3 of them. Cases have shot up from 398 to about 1,139 per what the president said. You would find 1,156, I think, online. Then the total number of deaths now stand at 320. The number of daily infections has risen from 25 per day to 130. It's not a joke. 25 to 130. That's a quantum leap there. And the Greater Accra region alone accounting for 75% of these. So very interesting. And the point I was making earlier, which is what I'm going to wrap with. In a survey conducted by the Ghana Health Service in Accra, mask wearing has fallen from 44.3% to guess what? 5%. So, well, I'm in my mask. I'm going to don it and protect yourself. It's the best thing to do. Don't forget to wash your hands, sanitize, use your mask, observe social distancing. We're not out of the woods yet. So that's the story I wanted to do, which I've done from the Ghanaian Times newspaper.
Okay. Should we go to my Joyline?
Is that to say you don't have any more stories from the other papers you have? Okay, so let me do just this one and then we shall indeed go online. I guess we have some 3 minutes to wrap up. Former president and opposition, and this is the DailyGuide. Former president and opposition NDC presidential candidate John Dramani Mahama has made a bizarre claim that the MPP government is arming people to engage in armed robbery without any proof. He said specifically that the government has given state weapons meant for the security agencies to armed robbers and emphasized that the resources meant to be spent on buying uniforms for the security personnel are diverted and rather used to buy uniforms for vigilantes. How does that rub off on you?
Shall we go to
I know.
Let's do my Joyline.
You catch me too quickly.
All right, here's our page today. So robbery gone wrong as woman bites robber's penis at Obuasi. That's the story that we shared with you. Unfortunately, though, he was able to have his way, except that he wanted to do other things, and in the process, that's when the lady recovered and was able, to bite his penis. It should have completely been cut off. There's a playback. You can listen to the president's 19th address on Ghana's COVID-19 situation. If you missed it yesterday, Ghana's active COVID-19 cases hit the thousands again. Incentive for health workers extended until December 31, says the president. On the U.S. election 2020, Trump might have lost. If we go up, we can see the rest of it. So Trump might have lost, but his legacy lives on with congressional Republicans. I look forward to working with you. Mahama to U.S. President-elect Joe Biden. Mahama and Trump come from the same stock. Majority leader predicts loans for NBC. Okay, that's a twist. All right, let's go up, please, and let's get the other headlines. Government to fully absorb electricity bills for 1 million active Lifeline customers. And the very final one right there on top. Ghana averaging 130 new COVID-19 cases per day in the past 2 weeks, coming out of the president's 19th address. And that's what Ben's been talking about. When you say we are not out of the woods, we've never been, except that we took it for granted. And now the cases are going up.
The point being that at some point, at least, you could see the downward trajectory and breathe a little easy. But right now, Charlie, we're going up again. And my problem is we're approaching elections, which means a lot more people coming together, which means, Charlie, we have to be on top of matters. But I don't mind endorsing any political party for money. Kelvin Boy, that's also on my Joy online. Also on the more fambra, more physical number.
Well,
bring the money.
Okay.
Now, when you miss your budget, what's your wahala?
No, I guess even the political parties, if they're spending money on an artist for endorsement, they will look for somebody who would make impacts. I don't think that right now he falls into that category. So
I feel bad for bringing this up. That jab right there. Anyway, sports is up next. Do stay with us.